I do wonder how Moz would play on MW3. I think it would be good. I don't know if it would be better though, especially because everyone in the Warzone community loves to hate on snipers. It would be a lot better sniping on Moz than it was during MW2 because we have a cat that can one-shot at any range, and there are way longer sightlines on Moz than there are on Urzikstan generally. We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 440. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon, also known as Lazarus, back from the dead.
Really?
Today I'm joined by Tanner.
Yeah, you
the
are.
cabinet maker. Geppetto.
Really?
Some might call him. Yeah.
Got it.
You know who Geppetto is, man?
No, I don't.
You don't know who Geppetto is? That's a deep cut. I don't blame you. It's the guy who created Pinocchio in the Pinocchio story.
Got it. Very
he
cool,
works
man.
with wood. I don't know. Seems like he could probably make a cabinet. Anyways, welcome to the show. Today we have an episode for you. So obviously, if you've been listening for a while, you might be wondering what happened earlier this week. Why wasn't there a news pod this week? Why didn't you guys say anything? Couple things. First off, if you wanted to know why there wasn't a Thursday pod, join the Discord. Links are everywhere in the show notes, description, etc. That is where we are most communicative and on the pulse with you listeners, our community. That's where we are most of the time. And when things come up, that is first where you'll hear about it, and often only where you'll hear about it. So we did mention this, that we had to cancel in the Discord. So join it so that doesn't happen to you next time. You don't get bamboozled again. Yeah. But anyways, basically what happened, and I'm not going to go into much detail here, is I had a medical emergency, and I am serious. Gosh. Yeah, it was an emergency. I had to be in the hospital for 3 whole days, out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere.
My hitman did a really bad job, man.
He did not do a great job, because I'm fine now. But basically, I had to go to the hospital Monday night, and then I got released 4th of July in the afternoon. So they kept me for a long time. They did a lot. And so that's why there was not a pod this week. Now, if you want to know exactly why I was hospitalized and all that, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on that sometime this month in our behind the scenes on Patreon.
Yeah.
For basically, well, for 2 reasons. Number one, if I explained why, it would take, when I explain why, which I will be doing on behind the scenes, it's going to take a while. There was a lot of stuff going on, basically. And I find the whole saga very interesting, but also it happened to me. So, of course, I find it interesting. The average listener, you guys, most of you probably don't really care. So I'm not going to go into great detail here, especially for how long it would take to explain everything. But, our patrons probably care more, so I'll go into a lot more detail in our behind the scenes. So if you wanted to hear all about it. What's up?
I think we should do that ASAP. I think we should just do the behind the scenes Tuesday or something this week. You can get it all out there while it's still fresh.
Yeah,
I think that'd be interesting because I want to hear all of it. There's not going to be anything else that happens this month, really, so we could just do it right away. People will be more interested if we do it early. So, yeah, we'll probably do that early next week, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, knock that sucker out. That's a good idea. Yeah. So yeah, we'll be doing that behind the scenes. Probably next week, actually. And then you guys can hear kind of all about it if you're into that. And there would still be some regular behind the scenes stuff to talk about too, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Not too much, but some stuff. And in addition to that. So that would be cool. But anyway, yeah, that's why we did not do that pod. So if you are concerned and you want to hear more, again, you could join the Patreon at Damascus, and that's where we'll do that episode. And if you wanted to show some support or help, because I'm going to have to pay like $2,000 in hospital bills and deductibles. Luckily, I have insurance because I have ulcerative colitis, which is a disease, and that is why I was in the hospital. Massive complications from that, basically. So even though I'm pretty young, I'm smart enough to have insurance. So luckily I have insurance, and my hospital bill is not going to be $200,000 or it would actually probably be like $100,000. I don't know yet, but insurance is obviously picking up most of it. I do have a fat deductible though of like $2,000. So if you guys wanted to help and support me and this program, a dying boy, go to thedropshot.com and donate so that I don't drown in these medical bills. America. Just kidding. So yeah, that would be the best way you guys can help if you care.
You'd still be waiting in the ER if this was Canada, man.
That's a good point. I would have died by now in Canada. Yeah, that's a great point. Or Britain. So, but anyway, yeah, luckily I have insurance, but I still am going to have to pay a lot in medical deductibles. So super chats, new patrons, donos, money. I need it to not die from being homeless. My family might be thrown on the street. It's going to be like 2,000.
Oh yeah. I also need something that's exactly 2,000. So you guys should just donate 4. So we each get 2. That would work well.
Yeah. Yep. That's correct. Yeah. Tanner doesn't know it yet, but he ought to be anticipating another medical emergency at my hands. So yeah, we're going to need some help there. So anyways, there you go. So yeah, that's why we didn't do this episode this week. So with that said, some of you have donated. Those of you that are in Discord, thank you guys. We appreciate it a lot. We will go into those specifically next week in our news pod, like we always do. So I'll shout out all those donos and thank you guys again, and do so individually. And also, if you become a new patron, we will do that again next week. So we'll have to go back a little farther, but if you didn't get your shout out yet, I promise you will, whether you're a new patron, dono, whatever. We're just not going to do it today. So keep that in mind. And then on the topic of the Patreon, by the way, just as a reminder, our last Patreon episode was a fire Rebirth Island strategy guide, which I don't know if we talked about this publicly yet. We would have in our last episode, but we didn't do one this week.
Yeah, no, we didn't, because we recorded it after the Saturday pod last week. Yeah.
Yeah, so just very briefly, if you guys wanted to go listen to that, you could. In collaboration with a top 250 player in our community, we made a really good, I think, Rebirth Island strategy guide episode on Patreon that's geared toward ranked. So if you're like a ranked gamer or ranked climber, that would be a good episode for you guys. We released it about a week ago, gotten a lot of good feedback already. So if you're a patron, go listen to it. And if you're not, you can join at any tier and go listen to it. And thank you again to Moose for helping out with that. I really enjoyed that episode. And it was nice, by the way, having a like third person, like someone else's like notes basically to go off of. It's interesting to do an episode that way. I don't think we've ever done something like that. And it made it like a real fresh kind of format that I enjoyed actually a lot.
Yeah, that was interesting to do it that way. Yeah. Then it kind of, you read their notes and then it makes you think of something that you know and have thought of, but then would have forgot to say it. So it's like, oh yeah, he said this. This makes me think about this instead. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really good time. Yeah. So
shout out to Raz for making that.
Yes, and shout out to me, I am Moose, for making that happen.
Yeah.
So, Anyways, with that said, yeah, sorry, I try not to do announcements this long normally, but I figured it was worth it this time. So, if you're listening for the jingle, which we stopped kind of doing lately here.
Yeah, you're just.
But yeah,
memory loss from being in the hospital. Idiot.
Stupid bitch.
Okay.
All right, that's enough of that. So, what are we going to do today? Well, since we missed our patch notes, news, upcoming changes of the week episode, we are going to start with that. We're basically going to cover what we would have covered last episode had we done it. Now, unsurprisingly to all of us who have been around the block for a while, not much to talk about in terms of updates or anything this week, but we're going to go through it anyway. And then once we're done with that, we're going to talk about some other kind of random stuff here. Now, again, I was not home, and so I have not played COD at all this week. Yeah, I was in the hospital, and then it was 4th of July, and then I was kind of just relaxing still yesterday. So I haven't played at all. Tanner's played a little bit, so that'll be something.
This week. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
for Warzone.
We'll get into that. But this coming week, I'm going to start gaming again. Moose hit me up, the guy I carry, for ranked. So I got to get Crimson this season. That's my goal. I'm at 7,100. I need 7,500 SR. So I'm close, and I'm going to get it before the season ends. I want that red skin. And Crimson is, by the way, the dad. It's dad iridescent. That's something from Hearthstone. Is if you got to like rank 5 or higher, they called it Dad Legend, because Legend was the highest rank you can get in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
And shitters would cope by saying, "Oh, I'm 35 and I have a kid, so if I get rank 5, I'm basically Legend since I'm a dad." It's like their little excuse, you know. You know, some people are like, "Oh, I'm on KBAM and I'm over 30, so if you adjust
some people say
my
that.
skill and my KD, it would be much higher than it actually is." Yeah.
I don't like when people say that, but some people do. Yeah.
Well, in the case of Call of Duty, it's absolutely true. In the case of Hearthstone, it is not, though. And I am a legend in Hearthstone, by the way. I was a demon at Hearthstone. Still could be if I kept up with decks and all that, but no one asked. You're right. So anyways, I'm going to get Crimson, which is Dad Iridescent this season. And I'm excited about that. So I will be playing, is the point of all of that rambling this week. Yeah. So anyways, let's get into it. We got some patch notes. So starting with multiplayer, there was one patch on the 2nd of July. And let's see if any of it matters.
Yeah, I'm not sure any of this matters. Let's take a peek here.
It's not a big patch. Not lots of words, but they are intimidating words.
Yeah, nothing mattered.
Yeah, nothing mattered.
Yeah, so yeah.
Actually, just bug fixes.
Yeah,
like,
bug
that's
fixes.
it. So, okay. And now to Warzone. We got, again, one patch on the 2nd. This is a little more impactful, potentially. So this was also in the multiplayer notes. I'm actually going to read it this time in the Warzone section. For the cast of 545 and 762 from MW2, these are the AKs. The AK 545 and 762. The Jack Requiem conversion kit, which I believe is the zero recoil conversion kit aftermarket part thing. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Fixed incorrect iron sight and misaligned optics after unequipping the conversion kit. Weird bug. Good fix, though. Okay. And now submachine guns. Wow. Let's see what we got here. Super E 46. The Meta SMG. Maybe. Lower torso modifier 1.3 to 1.1. So 20% less tummy damage. That sounds like a pretty big nerf, by the way. So, okay. And then what else do we have? Lower arm and hand modifiers decreased in the same way to 1.1 from 1.3. So now you're doing 20% less damage with the Super-E if you're shooting the arms, hands, or stomach. That sounds like a fairly big nerf, but it sounds also like a kind of sensible one because it doesn't like ruin the gun, in my opinion, because it still has great range. It has great irons, recoil, and then again, the chest and headshot damage are untouched, as well as the leg damage, if that matters, which it doesn't really. I've been watching a couple streams today. This still does seem, in fact, to be the meta SMG, but now it's just not quite as good.
Yeah, it still seems good to me. I just kind of wanted to try something else, so I started using the Horus instead, but it doesn't seem like the nerf really changed a whole lot. I guess just for people who were hitting, you know, they had bad aim and they were hitting legs or something, essentially, then whatever, they're not doing quite as much damage there. But like overall, the gun for most people is going to feel almost exactly the same. So,
yeah.
Nice little nerf that was probably necessary, but didn't gut it or anything. It's still the go-to. Yeah.
And then on the Horus, the Jack Scimitar kit, this is oh, it's the same thing. They didn't touch it. Fixed incorrect iron sight and blocked barrel attachments after unequipping the conversion kit. So there's a little bug fix there. By the way, as an aside, that conversion kit on the Horus that gives it 60 rounds, I know I've said this a couple times now, is really good and fun to use.
Yes.
And it has not been nerfed, even though the Super-E has. So if you were kind of vacillating between that and the Super-E, but you were kind of forcing yourself to use the Super-E because it was just better, I would say give the Horus a try again, because the Super-E got nerfed a little bit, and this still hasn't, and it's still quite competitive. So, you know, something to keep in mind. But anyway. And then lastly, we got more car nerfs. Wow. This is what we needed. They did it. Wow. Lower torso modifier, 1.1 to 0.95. Arm and leg modifier from 1.2 and 1.0 respectively down to 0.95. This is exactly what this gun needed all along. It probably needed both nerfs that it got, but this was the one that affects everyone. So when we talked about the last car nerfs, basically the big thing that they had done was nerf the aim assist on it. They made it sniper aim assist rather than SMG aim assist. And that was needed, to be clear. But the problem with that was it didn't affect K-BAM players almost at all. And it was still wildly overpowered for good controller players and for K-BAM players because of exactly what they've nerfed here, which is to say lower torso, arm, and leg modifiers, allowing you to two-shot down someone pretty much no matter where you hit them. That is no longer the case, almost certainly now. I'm not going to go look at the numbers because I trust that that is why they chose the multipliers they've chosen. So now you have to hit someone, I'm assuming, 3 times, unless you're hitting them in upper chest, neck, or head, to get a down at any
It depends.
range.
So we actually have an image here if you want to just get straight into that. So right underneath, we have an image of the old Car 98 profile to the new. This is from True Game Data. So
yeah, so I'll pull this up.
It's not that much worse. So like before at 90 meters, for example, you would still have to hit 3 leg shots to kill somebody. That is still the way. That is still the same way now. So like at the longest damage distance, say you're shooting someone in the leg, it's 126 damage. Before it was 118. So it has changed though in the closer ranges. So in the one shot headshot range, so up to 55 meters by default, you used to be able to shoot somebody in the toe twice and they would die. Now that requires 3 shots. But at the real long ranges, doesn't really affect a ton if you're hitting those extremities. But Yeah, so like another big one here, first damage range used to be it used to do 165 damage to the stomach. Now that does 142.
So now it's 3 shots instead of 2.
So
now
it's 3 shots to the stomach. Yeah. So neck, chest, head didn't change at any range. That's all the same. But the stomach, arm, and leg multipliers are a lot less. So like arm shots before was 180. Wait, what?
Which is insane. Yeah,
it was doing more the arm than the stomach?
I know. I was going to point that out.
Oh my God. I did not realize that until right now, and I was staring at this chart for 3 minutes. Okay. So it used to do 180 damage to the arm. Now it does 142. So yeah, you used to shoot somebody in the arm twice as they're running and they would die. Now that takes 3 shots at any range. So yeah, this is noticeable. This is very noticeable. So much that I already stopped using it. It was not feeling good to me at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like probably on Rebirth and stuff, still totally viable. Basically, it didn't change a whole lot there because you're still within, one shot headshot range for a lot of that. You can build it, real quick. But at long range, you don't see it often at all anymore. Like I played earlier this week, probably 4 hours total, not a ton, over a couple days. And seriously, the amount of times I got down to a one-shot sniper, I remember one time in particular it happened because I remember watching the kill cam and the guy was ADS'd on me trying to line up a shot for a long time because there's no more aim assist. The entire kill cam was him trying to line up a shot. Finally, I stopped enough for him to get on my head and shoot me, and then I got down. I was like, dang it. But that only I think I only got down, honestly, 2 or 3 times to snipers. So it's pretty much shifted the entire meta to full autos. That's what I've been experiencing, at least. And that was, we played quads every time I played.
Yeah, okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of good and bad. All the full auto guns feel really bad, in my opinion. But the car doesn't feel too great either. There were a few times, probably after the 3rd time of me firing 3 shots and getting 3 hit markers, I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So my thing is, like, obviously the car needed this nerf, and I think it's a good nerf. And I don't think the gun is ruined, but I do think it's just not brain dead easy to use anymore, which it shouldn't be. And also, I think they finally figured out how to make it. It fits the identity I think it should now, which is like, it's still, they've never nerfed the handling on it, which they shouldn't have. So that's really good. Like, the advantage of using a car should have always been, and in fact is, that it ADS is quick, it refires quick, and your sprint to fire is pretty fast, your strafe speed can be pretty fast. It's like the snappy sniper rifle that can one shot down inside of a certain range, and it still has that. So it still has its place, but it's not like disgusting anymore, and I think that's perfect. And it also, so it allows for people to use full auto guns again, which is good. The problem with that is all the full auto guns are really boring and not fun to use right now. All the viable ones, like the Holger 26, that seems to be the meta AR right now. It's meta because of its, damage range and time to kill and multipliers and whatever, but it's also just not a fun gun to use. Super slow, slow everything, reload, really slow reload, slow pulse, draw speed, ADS speed, sprint to fire, all that. So like, full auto guns aren't fun right now, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't nerf the car, obviously. And then another thing that's good with this is that it allows for people who want to snipe to have options. So before it was like, oh, if I'm going to snipe, I'm using the car. There's just no reason to use any other gun. But now there are reasons to use other guns. Now there's, like, depending on your playstyle and what you want to accomplish, you will use the car or the cat or like the stalker. You want those things to have their own identities and their own use cases. When the car is too overpowered, they don't, because you just use the car for everything. But now they do have use cases, it looks like. Yeah. And you have an image here comparing the car and the stalker, actually. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so it's kind of basically like what we wanted. It still doesn't make sense. The XRK stalker has a shorter first or one-shot headshot damage range. But again, that's just the way it works now. But so The XRK Stalker does more damage to the extremities, stomach, and all that. So kind of what I didn't really listen to most of what True Game Data was saying, but basically he said it is an option now for, especially if like you're playing quads or something and you're just, team fighting a lot and you want to do more damage to the other team as they're also getting shot by your teammates firing full auto guns. Said it's a great option for that. It's a little bit slower. Again, the one-shot damage range is a little bit shorter. By the time you build the gun out fully, it's probably 7-8 meters less.
I wonder if you could actually, if you built them both to be max range, I wonder if the Stalker would actually have more range. Like, I wonder if its long barrel is more impactful than the car.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I kind of doubt it, but I have to look. Regardless, yeah. So like first damage range, at 50 meters on the Stalker, you're doing 165 damage to the stomach. With the car, you're doing like 142. Okay, so it's the same thing with this. Look, you're doing more arm damage than you do to the stomach. Why do they do that?
That's weird.
So that's obviously intentional.
Yeah.
Is it so when somebody's like running across and you're shooting them, it feels... I don't know.
I think it's because the devs are thinking, okay, we want to reward people for accuracy, and if someone's running perpendicular to them far away, if you shoot them in the arm, that's like you're aiming at the chest, but their chest isn't facing you. So we want to give you chest damage, even though you're not shooting them in the chest, because it's not possible for you to shoot them in the chest since they're running perpendicular. Whereas the stomach is so low, they want to like punish you for being that inaccurate. That's my guess, because otherwise I can't explain it.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. But anyways, yeah. So you're doing more damage most places. Neck, chest, and headshot damage. It's all the same amount of damage going through the 3 ranges for all the guns. But it's the stomach, arms, legs. You're doing more damage with the XRK Stalker. So. And I don't remember if you get a little more velocity with the XRK Stalker. Not sure, but it was also really easy to hit shots with, I think. Oh, that was the other thing, is in one of the other patches, when did they nerf the velocity on the car? Was that when they did the aim assist?
Yes.
I think it was. That's actually, I wouldn't think that would matter at all, but there was a lot of times when I was trying to shoot people at long range, and I was missing more than I thought I used to miss, but I don't know. I hadn't had time to play much, so I really didn't play much for like a week or two, so maybe I was just bad. But it felt like the bullets weren't traveling as quickly as I was used to, and it was only a difference of 30 meters per second, 40. It wasn't a whole lot, but I felt like I noticed that lower velocity on the car as well.
Interesting. I think the Stalker does have more velocity, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to try that now, because the Stalker was always really fun when I was using it.
Yeah. So basically, when you look at this chart, it's like the Stalker is doing what the pre-nerf car used to do inside of its first damage range, meaning you can shoot someone literally anywhere inside of 80 meters once it's built, and you will get a down if you hit them twice. Yeah. Which is what the car used to do, but now it doesn't. So yeah, that's a great use case for the Stalker, is like the example you gave of like playing quads or something. Yeah. Just being able to hit those 2 shots. Like that was what made the car so gross. You can do it with the Stalker now. Now, again, you're not going to have SMG aim assist, and it's not going to refire as quickly as a car, but it does give a reason to use the Stalker over the car, depending on what you're doing and what you want.
Yeah,
which is good.
I'm looking it up real quick, see if I can figure out which one ends up having more velocity. I don't remember exactly how to build this. I think that's right.
I can do a little try.
Oh, yeah, the Stalker has a lot more velocity. Okay. Yeah, like 300 meters per second more. Okay. Yeah, the build that I look at has like 1230. The Car 98 has 930.
I'm going to do a little build here. We're going to do this live. So there's the Stalker. And we're going to add the Car 98, if I can find it. Okay, there we go. So the attachments we would put on is what is the silencer? Sonic, right? Because that gives you damage range. Yeah.
Sonic, the 7.62 long barrel, and then the high grain ammo.
High grain ammo.
And then the other attachments don't matter.
And then the same for this, basically.
Yeah, the fission 60
Oh, this
barrel.
is going to be actually... Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. So this Nightfall suppressor, which you can't put, or Mammoth suppressor, these give you more damage range than you can get with any car suppressors.
Yeah, it just hurts your ADS time a lot. That's what it is. That's why I don't run it. So you get 5% more range, but an 18% reduction to ADS time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's really not worth it probably, but you probably theoretically could then get a longer damage range maybe.
You said high grain ammo, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you build both of them to have absolutely maximum damage range and bullet velocity, then the Stalker will have 1146 velocity. And where is its first damage range listed? Where is that listed? Oh,
It's the sonic suppressor you use, not the Mammoth.
Well, the Mammoth is max damage range. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
But yeah, you get more velocity, and then you get another ADS hit on the Mammoth.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, the point I wanted to check is if you could get a longer first damage range theoretically with the Stalker than the car, and it looks like you can. You actually get it out to 57 meters rather than 46 with the car. So you actually can get what? That doesn't sound right. I don't know. I'd have to do this more. I don't care anymore. But anyways, the velocity is the main thing I want to compare. 927 to, you said Sonic has more velocity, right?
Yeah.
1232. So that does make hitting shots a lot easier as well.
1230 in this Warzone feels really, really good too. That feels close to like hit scan from what we've been used to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, back in Warzone 1, those numbers were like 1800, 1600, so you're used to it. But going to something with 1230 velocity on a sniper in this version of Warzone, since Warzone 2 released, that's like, feels like hit scan, so that's really good. So yeah, I'm going to go back and try the Stalker again, because that was always really fun, and I felt like I just hit every single shot with it. So maybe that'll just be better for me at this point.
Yeah.
But that's cool too. That's a great thing about the car nerf here is we've been saying that the XRK has a place. It's too bad they just destroyed it by releasing the car. So that's not the case anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's to say nothing about the Moors and the Cat, which also still have their own place. So now you have like 4 pretty viable snipers, which is good. So now, other than that was pretty much it that happened this week. But there are a couple of other things to talk about a little bit. First of all, just an update on the player numbers. Charlie Intel tweeted this on the 1st of July. COD was the most played game in the United States on PS5 and Xbox during the week of June 16th to the 22nd. It's still doing extremely well. On the Steam top 10 games, it is not first place. It is, in fact, not even on the Steam top 10. But
it's not, yeah.
That doesn't matter because the vast majority of PC players do not play through Steam. They play through Battle.net. Especially if they've been playing for a while. Because, like, you know, when I bought BO4, it wasn't on Steam. It was only on Battle.net. So I did that. And then every new game came out, I just automatically go to Battle.net. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just...
Yeah, exactly.
It makes more sense to me. Also, I don't want it through Steam.
Plus, it's like the games on Steam, a lot of them are only available on Steam. So, like, obviously, those are going to be in the top 10, like Counter-Strike. Rocket League, I don't know if you can get that other places, but Rocket League's always been a real big Steam game. That's where I own it.
Elden Ring,
yeah.
Pretty sure that's only Steam if you're on
Elden
PC.
Ring only Steam, yeah.
Yeah.
And Elden Ring was number
actually.
1 that week because people were probably getting ready for the DLC. I don't think the DLC was released by then, right? It came out after the 22nd.
June, pretty close. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. So people were probably getting ready for it or something. But yeah. So and so Fortnite dropped to number 2 both of those weeks. I guess the recent Fortnite season people weren't real happy with or something. That's what I was hearing. But
really, it's crazy that Fortnite is still as popular as it is, though. Like, I still see tweets.
Well, that's another one. What other?
time.
No, see, so Fortnite's biggest platform isn't Steam either. Isn't Fortnite?
No,
They have their own Epic
in
Games
general.
launcher. No, that's what I'm saying though. That's crazy. Is there like? Oh wait, that's not on. I'm talking about console. I'm talking about two different things. Never mind. But yeah, I know you're right. Because you only hear bad things about it at this point usually, right? Like the last thing positive I heard about Fortnite was when they brought back the OG map last year, whenever that was, earlier this year, late last year.
No build,
and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And then since that OG map lasted, I think, less than 30 days. And then since then, again, I just only hear bad things about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm surprised it's still as popular as it is.
Yeah. So anyways, just, pointing out once again, Call of Duty is not going anywhere. And despite the fact that it is in a lull right now and it feels like no one's playing it, you guys underestimate how many casuals play Call of Duty vastly. Like you don't understand. Those of you who listen to a Call of Duty podcast, you're obviously like very hardcore players. So you're either playing a ton or you're just burnt out because you were playing a ton and not enough has changed to keep you around. That's kind of what it is with like hardcore Call of Duty players, like all of us, basically, is like you're playing a lot until you're burnt out because they don't release enough new content for you, basically. Or you're one of those like Omega COD lovers like JKN, for example, who just always is playing all the time. But that is why Call of Duty remains so popular throughout the whole year, is because there are some people like that, but mostly it's because of casuals who only play, 3 hours a week, maybe total. But they play every week, and because they don't play a ton, they don't get burnt out ever. And the content cycle is more than enough for them. It's more than fast enough for them. So of course Call of Duty is still like super popular. And again, keep in mind, it like when it lists these from Circana listing these player numbers, it lists the number one most played game for that week as Call of Duty HQ. So that means between multiplayer, Warzone, and zombies. So like, that's a lot of game modes that a lot of people are into. So, and it's only
that's even counting people still playing baby. DMZ.
Yeah. It's only going to get more hype as BO6 approaches. I don't think we got any BO6 leaks or news this week, unfortunately. I would have loved to have covered that.
I think we're dry until COD Next. Yeah.
And I was expecting some, but I think you're right. I think we're kind of just waiting for COD Next. When is that?
What was it? The end of August, guys? When was it?
No, it's not that late.
Middle of August. It's in August.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you're real hyped on the next game. I still have fun. I mean, I still have a lot of fun playing Warzone. See, to me, it doesn't feel like many people are burnt out on it at all. At least, like the people I follow on Twitter, they're still. It's all about Warzone still right now. It's nothing like how it felt last year. Last year, it actually did feel like nobody was playing, in my opinion. But yeah, it seems like it's still really popular right now. It's too early for the Black Ops hype. It was fun talking about like the zombies episode, doing that, and I was real excited. And then like the next day, I'm like, I don't care again. I'm in no rush. I like this game. It's fun.
August 28th. You're right.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Think about it. Also,
we're
getting the beta at that time too, so we'll have the beta in less than 60 days.
True.
The beta in 45 days or something. 50 days. Anyways.
But like you were on what you were saying though, let me be clear. I'm not saying that Warzone is because you're right. Like last year around this time, it really was like no one was playing it. There are definitely more people playing now, like Warzone maybe specifically, than last year. Because even though the kind of lack of novelty is probably the same now as it was last year, the quality of the game is not. The quality of the game is much better right now than what we had last year. So even if we're not getting a ton of new stuff, it's still like an actually really fun game to play. Like the mechanics are pretty great. We could use some better long range weapons that are more fun and interesting to use. But kind of besides that, it's like the core game is really, really solid right now in a way that was absolutely not the case last year. So your point is well taken there. And also, I think there is still some hype for COD right now and Warzone and stuff that probably surpasses what we had last year also because of the World Series of Warzone stuff going on right now. I think
World Series of Warzone, the Rebirth tournament.
I actually don't know what the general consensus from the competitive Warzone audience is this year compared to last year, but I'll speak for myself. I'm way more excited about World Series of Warzone this year than I was last year, despite the fact that it's that we haven't had ranked big map, because the game is way more fun this year and because of the match point system. So I do wonder what the general consensus is, though. Like, will the audience be bigger for World Series of Warzone this year than it was last year?
Oh, surely.
I mean, they all definitely is a lot more, but it's maybe just because I'm really hyped and I wasn't last year. I don't really know.
Well, literally every single person going to World Series of Warzone land, 100% of them prefer this game to what they had last year, without a doubt, obviously. I know, though, it seems to be the general consensus is that people don't like Urzikstan. That's where we're at. It seems like they all would rather be playing on Mazrah with the game we have now.
I have not seen that. That's really interesting.
No, that's said a lot. A lot of people just do not like this map. Like, especially this last week. I don't know why it is, but there have been numerous tweets that I've seen in the last 7 days or so talking about like how Urzikstan is like the worst BR map we've had. There was one viral one that I forgot who it was from, and they're like, honestly, like it could be nostalgia, but I don't think it is. Like, even like Caldera was a better map than this, and it's
that's
like, okay,
wild.
Really, that's what I'm saying. Like, you guys are wild. Urzikstan is just a typical middle of the road map, I think. It's not great. It's not extremely memorable. It's not a bad map at all, though. It's just fine. It wasn't real thought out in the design and the layout, in my opinion. Too many buildings. We talked about it all months ago. But yeah, I think it's hard for me to really compare it to Mazrah, and I think a lot of people aren't fair when they try to compare it. Like, it's very hard for me to picture playing this game on that map, because I want to say
it's hard would be to disentangle MW2 and Mazrah. Yeah,
that map it feels so bad because that game felt so bad. So I didn't think that map, looking back now, was good at all. But it's really hard to say.
I agree. Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be the thing, is that all these people wish they were on that. And there are a lot of little changes too. None of them like the PDS, like that whole meta that we have right now, where they sit in the gas and hold as many PDS and gas.
When you watch the custom
none of the
competitors
like that.
They do seem a little broken, honestly, and dumb. Yeah,
that's like, a simple fix. Leave them in the game, but lower the spawn rate of them by 75%.
That's I think what they need to do. Yeah,
because then
it's really
if
dumb
they really want them.
Tournaments.
If they really want them, they have to start holding them early game, and then that's going to prevent them from holding things like streaks, self-revives, whatever else they need to hold.
Exactly.
Because they know we're going to need to hang on to that the whole time, and it will totally change the flow of everything. But
I agree. Yeah.
As we've said like a bunch of times, they're the ones playing it. If they think the PDS is bad for the overall competitiveness, they should just remove them, in my opinion. They should kind of let them dictate what they think is good, but they obviously don't do that. So we'll see. We'll see if they get changes going into World Series of Warzone, but that's been like the biggest complaint about all this from what I've noticed.
And when you watch these custom matches, for those of you who haven't, I can kind of enlighten you. They play a lot different than pubs. So one of the ways, which we've already talked about, is that like before the C4 nerfs we got, everyone in customs was using C4s, but no one in pubs was. Like, you'd be amazed seeing how many people you're using C4s if it was your first time watching a custom match. Portable decontamination station is another of those things. Like, I almost never see them in pubs. I almost never use them in pubs either, really, honestly. But when you watch custom games, people will stow like 3 or 4 of them going into end game, and they will win games off of it. Like, often, almost every game, actually, the winner is throwing at least 2, like, to win. It's kind of crazy. And if you play pubs, you might be kind of shocked by that because you're like, I don't even pick them up. Because, like, yeah, I don't either. In pubs, you don't really, I don't know, need to because no one else is doing it. But if you're a really smart professional Warzone player, you can exploit the hell out of being able to not take gas damage literally wherever on the map you are. That's really, really strong, especially because it opens up buy stations for you, even if they are 1 kilometer outside of the circle. That's like a huge, massive, powerful thing you can do that you're not really going to think to do as like an average player or whatever. Yeah. There are things like that in customs that that you just wouldn't know unless you watch them, frankly.
And that's how the Esports World Cup was just won by Biffle, Shifty, and Soka. Soka on Rebirth was the last one alive, had a PDS, ran into gas, threw down the PDS to open up a buy station, bought both of his teammates back, and then they won because of that. So that literally just happened 2 hours ago.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's great for pubs. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
man.
Yeah. That's shocking.
Literally, they should have it pre what's the word? Why was I going to say inscribed? They should have it pre like laser etched on the trophy. Just put Biffle, Shifty, and Soka on there now and just have the trophy ready. It's a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
It's a total waste of time for everyone else to go.
Which we've been saying from the start, by the way.
It's I'm being dead ass. They need to almost do something next year to like prevent super teams because it's crazy. They're not going to lose.
Yeah, and I'm still willing to make this bet. I have a standing open bet for anyone who wants to take it. I will bet you a reasonable amount of money. I have a bet going. So far, I only have one person's taken me up on it, Dubfire. And I think we bet $20 or something. I actually should have pinned it, but I can go find it. But the bet is, if Biffle wins the World Series of Warzone, you pay me. If literally any other team in the tournament, literally any other team. So you have, how many teams are in a lobby? 30? No, 50. 50 teams. You have a 49 teams can win 50. And you'll win money. Well, 5 times 3, 150. Oh wait, no, it's not 150
it's not 150 players, buddy.
Oh,
they're playing. No, they did increase it to 120, so it's 40 teams.
40 teams, yeah. Okay, yeah. So if you want to bet me money, here's the bet. I will bet you that Biffle's team, one team, wins the World Series of Warzone. If any of the other 39 teams win the World Series of Warzone, then you win the bet. I'll pay you. Pretty good odds, you would think, but only one person has taken me up on it. So yeah, I've bet Dub. That's an easy $20 or whatever we bet. I'll bet anyone. Tag me in Discord. Tell me how much you want to bet. And I do need to pay off those medical bills. So if you want to bet a lot, we can do that. But hit me up in Discord if you want to do that. So anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that said, I think the player numbers are not surprising, and the hype for Warzone, I think, is pretty high right now. And we still don't know when the World Series of Warzone is, to be clear. Is that correct?
We do not know where it is. We do not know when it is. We don't know what continent it is on. Correct.
That's good. Yeah. Is there like a timetable? Like it'll probably be in August?
There's not a single goddamn thing.
That's great.
There's nothing. Not a single item of information about it. Actually, that's something else that happened earlier this week. One of the leakers, or maybe one of the comp players, was like, the rumors or leaks is that they're going to reveal all the World Series of Warzone information later today, and then they never did that day. So, I don't know. It's not happening. They canceled it.
Yeah. Well, it seems. They might just forget that. I wouldn't be surprised if Activision was like, oh, did we never do that? We forgot to schedule it. Oops. So anyways, yeah. On the map discussion, by the way, just quickly before we move on. It is very hard to disentangle Maz from that game. I do wonder how Maz would play on MW3. I think it would be good. I don't know if it would be better though, especially because everyone in the Warzone community loves to hate on snipers, it would be a lot better sniping on Maz, a lot better sniping on Maz than it was during MW2, because we have a cat that can one shot at any range, and there are way longer sight lines on Maz than there are on Urzikstan generally. Sniping would be way better on that map. That's the one thing I can definitively say, is that any sniper, but like especially a cat, would be really good on Maz in a way that it is not quite nearly as good on Urzikstan. But I don't think Urzikstan's a bad map or a good map. I think it kind of just, it feels kind of soulless to me, but so did Maz, honestly.
But again, it's just everything I think about with Maz is using like really bad guns, barely able to move. Like I guess I should explain. Like I can picture playing with the fast movement, but I just don't know if I would actually like it any better more than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just a bunch of other little things too that I'm still scarred from, like the performance in certain POIs. You would go to, what's the one POI that I hated and like Jake and them like landing at? Just north of you don't.
No, I know what you're talking about. No.
Yeah. What's that POI called though?
Oh, what was it called? Yeah, it was north of Hydroelectric, yeah.
I despised Hydro. And a big reason was when I went to that POI, I dropped 60 frames. So that's why I also just hated it. I was 100 frames at that POI. So just so many little things like that I'm scarred from. The bad performance, the bugs, the glitches, dying in 150 milliseconds from 40 meters to the Fennec in the first 2 months of the game at Hydra. Just all of it combined, it's just like you said, it was the Holocaust essentially. It was the same thing. It was almost the same thing. It was our
Holocaust, yeah, right.
It was the Dropshot's Holocaust. So, hard to say, but I think the map sucked ultimately. Yeah.
I don't know. But
bring back Verdansk.
All I will say is that if you think any big map we've ever had in Warzone is worse than Caldera, you're not inside your mind. You're outside of it. Like there's somewhere and you are not there. You're outside of your mind if you think Caldera was better than any other big map we've had. Caldera had some great little spots, but the elevation changes were absurd. Like I can't believe they did it. And you couldn't drive vehicles because they were too steep and they didn't have enough torque. And there were bushes everywhere that were not good for visibility, and the sun. And there was a tunnel that if you went into it, you were flashbanged permanently. The infamous tunnel. There's a screenshot somewhere buried in our Discord that Tanner posted. If you look through, if you can search from Tanner has an image and scroll for a long time, you'll eventually find it. And it's a screenshot of him in the tunnel. And you can't see. It's just insane. So Caldera was not a better map than Maz.
Oh, you are talking about Caldera there. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like Maz. I remember that on Caldera. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was Caldera, it was the tunnel at Peak on the
It was like on the south side or something, yeah.
West side. Yeah.
Which is what I said, yeah.
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. Caldera was absolutely the worst big map we've had. We can quibble about all the other ones, but Caldera.
Imagine the combination of Caldera and Al Mazrah game mechanics. That's actually a recipe for probably the worst major publisher battle royale game that's ever been released. Caldera on MW2 mechanics. Oh my god.
We would have had to have like stopped doing the podcast. Yeah,
that's like
that would have been
that would be unreal.
That would be unreal. Yeah. So, anyways, with all that said, we will now move on to our personal kind of Warzone impressions for having played the last week.
Yeah.
And by ours, I mean Tanner's, obviously, because I've been AFK. I've been AFH, actually, away from home.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Kind of already talked about most of it. Talked about the car already. Holger 556. This is kind of like one of the meta ARs, or probably like the #1 most suggested by True Game Data J God right now. The gun sucks. I don't like it, and I never will. It's like my fourth time trying to use it. Yes, it's my fourth time trying to use it. I do not like how it feels. If you like it, great. It is a good option. I just personally can't use it. The recoil pattern and the fire rate is an odd combination. Don't like it. And it reloads slow even with fast hands. I don't know. Not a fan of the gun at all. Surprisingly enough, after using that and then trying the Holger 26, which also feels like complete and total ass, the Holger 26 actually feels better to me than the Holger 5.56. But that's just where we're at. The long-range guns don't feel good at all. They feel really bad. They're really boring to use. And this is the thing is like, so many players, even like the good players, beg for a longer time to kill. And then we start creeping up there. And then we get guns like the Holger 26 as the meta gun. And then everyone starts saying, God, the Holger 26 is ass. This gun feels like crap. Yeah, that's what happens when the time to kill creeps up to what it's at right now. It doesn't get fun anymore. It's not fun. Sure, it's fun maybe playing Iron Trials for a couple weeks. It's not fun to have that long of a long-range time to kill on these guns as we have, in my opinion. It needs to be a little bit faster. The close and medium range time to kill is good, but long range, like 80-plus meters on big map, feels so bad using all these full auto guns. Like 10 shots to kill, 12 shots to kill with some of these probably. Not great. It's just not fun, in my opinion. I don't like it. So that's what's funny is like, people beg for it, and then we almost get to it, and then everyone hates how the gun feels. Shocker, you don't want a slow time to kill. You think you do, you don't. So anyways, I don't like any of the full auto guns, really, which is unfortunate.
It doesn't help, to be fair, that both Holgers do have just the weird handling they have. The Holger 5.56 handles fine, but it reloads way slower than it should. I don't know why, and the 40-round mag really hurts it. And then the Holger 26... it has 60 rounds, but it also just handles super, super slow. And then you've also written that the Subverter is supposedly pretty good. I've pulled up a little TTK chart here comparing the Holger 5.56, 26, and the Subverter. This is what I will be using the next time I play Warzone, is the Subverter. Because I never hated the Subverter when it was the meta gun, because it killed so fast. Now, granted, it is also very slow. Almost certainly slower than the Holger 26 even, once you put on all the attachments and stuff. But it kills way faster than both of those guns at pretty much every range until you get past 42, in which case it's a little slower until you get to 60, and then it's like faster again. So it seems like it's just the best option. If I'm going to have to use a gun that in full auto that's just gonna handle slow, which is basically true for all of these, I might as well use the one that kills the quickest. So I'm thinking the Subverter, and it's also very easy to control. Even like compared to like the Holger 26 though, it's harder to control than that at long range. Like, so that's True Game Data talked about that in one of his last videos, that it's really good on paper, but he even did, I don't know how he got it, but he did average accuracy from K-BAM players and controller players on certain guns. I think he just uses the firing range, and he basically runs little tests on it. He uses his community. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So he put out like average accuracies, and on both controller and K-BAM, the average accuracy of somebody using the Subverter versus the Holger was quite a bit lower. So at that point, like, you're never getting that realistic time to kill. Your time to kill is going to be actually way slower. Yeah, it was a lot lower on both inputs. Okay. So that's the issue with that. But yeah, I know. Like, I think Lag said he was using it. Lag finally had time to play, and he liked it a lot. So I will definitely try it again, because I don't like how anything feels. I really like how the MTZ 5.56 feels at close to medium range, but then long range, I don't love that one either. So, because that's a popular option. SVA is still always in there, but I don't know. I think I just need to get used to using the SVA and going between burst and full auto. Just leaving it in full auto and firing the burst if you have to, whatever. That's kind of what I had been doing, yeah. The MTZ is, it's in there. MTZ is actually probably what you want, man. It's like right in the middle of the two Holgers. It feels better to me. Yeah, it's like right in the middle of the two Holgers in terms of TTK, and I think I haven't used that gun in a long time, so I don't really know how it handles or anything. But for the Subverter, like, yeah, I hear you on the harder to control, I guess. I don't remember it feeling very difficult to control, but I haven't used it in quite a while. But it's killing faster than everything, up to 42 meters. And it by a lot, by the way. And inside of 42 meters, I don't think that recoil matters too much. Because I know it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I'm not really talking about those ranges. Most guns feel good at those ranges. I'm looking for something more long range.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so what else did he talk about in that video? Okay, so... Oh, actually, the MTZ 556 had lower accuracy than the Subverter even, so that's probably not a good option.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Where did it go? Okay, yeah, so on controller, the Subverter was the lowest accuracy by his community testers. 46% accuracy versus like the SVA, 10% more accuracy on average from his community members.
Interesting. Yeah. So
one of the ones he recommends, I guess, actually is that people were real accurate with was the Tacky Volvaire too, the LMG.
Oh,
I think somebody ended up trying that when we were playing Cope, or I think Jake may have tried it. So I talked about it because it was the same thing for them. Like Jake would get a kill and he'd be like, "Oh, the MCW is the best feeling gun," and then he'd get hit markers on the next guy and be like, "This is the worst gun in the game." Yeah. So I was like, "Which one is it?" I was like, "Seriously though, does it feel good?" He's like, "Not really." He's like, so he actually liked it at long range, but then everywhere else he said it felt like it killed too slow.
Evolve Air does not kill very fast, yeah.
It doesn't, but it's just you have so much ammo, you just keep that sucker held down.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I don't think I'd like it, my playstyle personally, but I think a lot of people would.
Yeah.
So yeah, the TLDR is none of the long range fully automatic guns feel good once again, shocker.
Yeah, well, there are some options for you guys, but yeah, it does not seem great. Yeah, none of these are like, I will say, actually, of every gun we just talked about, those are kind of all the ones that are in the meta. The two that do feel good, in my opinion, are the Subverter, even though it's quite slow. I always just liked how it felt. And then also the SVA. I love the SVA. It feels really good and really fun to use. It is just kind of like annoying with the hyperburst thing, because it's like you feel like you're nerfing yourself if you don't use it, but then also if you do use it, it's either annoying or going to make you maybe less accurate, especially on, not so much a problem on Rebirth, but definitely a problem on Urzikstan, like pretty far away. So I don't know, but those will be the guns I try again. Is mainly the Subverter. I think I'm gonna like that, and it just kills so fast in 42 meters. And you know, that's not all your gunfights on Urzikstan. A lot of times you're going to be shooting people farther away than that, but a lot of times you're not. A lot of times people will be inside of 42 meters, and then you are going to kill them faster, and you're not going to have trouble hitting shots. So you're actually going to meet that paper TTK where you just shred. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to give that a try for sure. But yeah, a couple options for you guys.
Yeah, and then again, I already talked about the Horus. I've been using the conversion kit. I haven't looked too closely at the time to kills. I think it's pretty much in line with the Super E. I think it's just once you get to longer ranges, it's worse. It's slower time to kill, but it is a laser beam, and it's just fun to use. It's fun little fast fire rate gun, 60 round mag. Run it with a nice little optic. Feels clean to use. No visual recoil, no shake. I like it.
Yeah. You also have 60 60 rounds. Reloads
it's
pretty
a little
fast.
too slow. That's the only thing I don't like. It's got slow mobility once you build it out. Worse than the old Soupy.
Yeah, for sure. But very comparable time to kill, even with the... So I'm comparing here the Super E no attachments to the Horus with only the conversion kit. And you guys can see the time to kills are very similar. Really up to 42 meters, which at that point it doesn't matter.
Check the headshot damage. I think the Soupy does a lot more headshot damage.
It does
too.
Yes, it does.
That's the thing. You're not
how about the neck?
Hitting headshots with the Horus.
Yeah, and then tummy. And then for tummy shots, Horus is better.
Yes.
And then for extremities, the Horus is way better too. So that's another thing that makes it a more attractive long-range sniper support gun, is where you're going to be like not hitting super accurate chest shots all the time. You want a gun with better multipliers on, like, you know, stomach and legs and stuff. So
yeah,
but yeah, I really like that conversion kit. I think it's super, super fun. I do wonder though, let me compare actually I wish there was a comparison of like oh wait, is there? Yeah, there is. Here we go. The movement stuff. Yeah. So yeah, like the aim down sight speed is actually not that much worse on the Horus. Although a lot of people on the Super E, to be fair, run the short barrel, right? What's that sucker called? Because where they get the crazy movement speed. 8% movement speed. 4%.
A lot of people run tack stance builds for that now too. I've been noticing that.
Yeah, it's this barrel. So now if we compare the movement and stuff. Yeah, so now the ADS time is like a pretty big difference. You get more velocity with the Horus, doesn't matter. Horus has faster fire rate. That actually 200 rounds, even with the conversion kit. That means something. But, you know, it's the movement speed slower, sprint speed slower, and then sprint to fire speed is 60 milliseconds slower. That's a pretty big deal. So, yeah. I can see what you're saying for sure. But I enjoy that gun a lot more though than the Super E. It's just super fun to use. Not that the Super E is bad, not that it feels bad to use, because it doesn't. But the Horus just feels super fun to shoot. I love it. So anyway,
yeah, it's a really fun gun.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back in there. That's probably going to be my first build, is the Horus conversion kit and a subverter. It would be nice to play Urzikstan and not have to snipe. I'm kind of excited for that. It's been a while. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. And then that's pretty much it, boys and girls. Other than that, there's been a lot of Elden Ring talk in our Discord since the DLC came out, and in chat and stuff still. And people are still very, very much into Elden Ring right now, including myself. So we'll talk a little bit about it. I started a new playthrough. So I've beaten the game twice. I beat it when it came out, and then I beat it again probably like 2 months after I beat it the first time, with like some different build. I don't really remember what I did for the second run. I did do like a mage build my first run though, because I always play like a caster in every RPG I play. But in Souls games, it's not that fun playing as a caster, because it's easy, frankly. It's pretty cheap and easy. Like Gravity Stone with the Gravity Staff, it's like, it trivializes kind of the whole game. So I beat it the first time with that, and it was fun, really fun. But I wanted more of a Souls experience where you have to actually like engage with the boss's movesets. So I did like a Dex build, I think, for my second playthrough, and then I beat it again. And now I started fresh with another Dex build, Dex Arcane, Weeb Samurai build. That's what I'm doing. Eleonora's Pole Blade, Rivers of Blood once I get it, Power Stancing Katanas, have a little bit of faith so that I can cast some Dragon Incants, but then I'm leveling mainly Arcane and Dexterity, because the Dragon...
Okay, nerd.
The Dragon Incants scale off of Arcane, not off Faith. So I basically have 15 Faith just so I can do some of the basic Dragon stuff for when I need ranged, which is seldom, but sometimes you need it. And then I'm just buffing the hell out of Arcane, because that helps you with your status build up and fire damage and stuff from Pole Blade and bleed build up from Katanas. And then that also scales your Dragon Incants. So you don't need to level Faith to increase the damage of the Dragon Incants. So it's actually a really sweet little Weeb build. And I'm going to take that directly to the DLC. Right now I'm at Mount Gelmir. I'm probably level 95-ish, because I'm doing a completionist run. I'm getting literally every single thing you can get in one playthrough. All of them. I'm doing every quest line that you can. There are some things that are mutually exclusive. So you can. Obviously I'm not doing those things in one playthrough. It's not possible. But every single possible thing I can do in one playthrough, I am doing. It's kind of annoying because you have to be like meticulous about it. It's like, oh, can't beat Rykard yet because it's going to lock you out of these quests, whatever. But it's worth it. I'm excited. I'm going to have every single base game thing pretty much. And then I'm going to go mog the DLC. And I'm really excited about it. Elden Ring. Yeah, and I've been trying to get Tanner to try it, but he's reticent to try it because it doesn't look fun to him. Have you like watched gameplay of it? How does it look? Does it look fun?
I see screenshots and it looks dope, and then I start watching gameplay. I'm like, nah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I watched, I can't remember who it was, but I watched them try to fight the same boss 5 times. I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I don't know. I totally get how people like that, but for me, that's not fun. I don't like repetitiveness like that. I just don't. Yeah. Like, I don't even like playing a game and you lose to the boss twice. It's like, this is so stupid. It's not even like you get, well, part of it is you get mad from dying, but it's like, I just can't imagine people like, some of these guys, like, how many times did Kai die to some of these bosses?
Oh, dude.
Like was it 100 times?
Oh, more. I think
to the same boss?
So there is a boss in Elden Ring. I don't know about now because the DLC is out, but in the base game, there is a boss named Millennia, and she is easily the most difficult boss in the base game.
I've heard about her, yeah.
She's like notorious, and people say the most difficult boss in any Souls game ever. And he died to her, I think it was 400 plus times before he beat her.
Yeah, see, like that, I don't know, man. That does not sound like a fun experience at all.
Most people don't die that many times to Millennia, to be fair. Yeah. But also, you know, he was streaming, so that makes it more fun. But by the way, on the topic of Elden Ring and Kai Cenat, him playing Elden Ring made me a Kai Cenat stan. Not just a fan, I'm a stan. I don't know, does he have a name for his fans? You know how Nick Merckx is like M-fam? What are Kai Cenat fans called besides children?
I don't know, actually. I
Does
don't think
he have a little moniker?
The Courageous. You like that one for Courage, JD?
I didn't know that existed, and I'm so
upset. You did
because
you tweeted at him one time. You tweeted.
Oh, really?
You tweeted at him one time, and you're like the Courageous, and you did like a pointing and laughing emoji. It was a long ass time ago, but it was so funny.
I hate it still, so yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you got real mad about it. It was funny.
Anyways, Kai Cenat, dude, when he started his Elden Ring, like, obviously I knew who he was, but I didn't, like, follow him ever or watch him. Because he's a young guy. His audience is young people. It's not really for me. At least I thought. But then, yeah, he announced he was going to do an Elden Ring playthrough, like a month or two ago, probably like 2 months ago, because the DLC was coming out soon, and he wanted to, like, be prepared for it. So, bro made a, like, Activision level teaser trailer for literally him just doing a live stream playing a video game. You guys can find it on his Twitter. Go to his videos. He made like a Steven Spielberg level production for a Twitter video. That's the only thing he did it for. He's got like full suits of armor. He has other people in different suits of armor. They have like the cool like set pieces. So they're in like a boss room, but in real life, with like the lighting and the like background like art and stuff and the whole setting. And it's like, and then at the end of it, it's like Kai Cenat 100 plus hour marathon stream beating Elden Ring, you know, whatever, March 18th, 7 p.m. And I was like, dude, who does that? What streamers do that? That is so cool. And it was awesome, and it like got me hyped. And then I actually watched his stream. I watched his playthrough of it, and he was terrible when he started, and he actually got good toward the end, which was also cool to watch. But he's a great streamer, and actually watching him, I was like, I like this guy. I totally get it. Super hype. And then he has like his stream room, and in his mega mansion, I'm sure, where he'll have his friends that all just like live there or roam or whatever. It's like a frat house. People just always come and go, I guess. So he like will beat a boss that he's been trying to beat for a long time. And then 2 minutes later, all of his friends who are watching his stream from the other room will barge in and like surround his camera and be like, you did it, whatever. And then one time they brought in you know how they pour the Gatorade on the football coach when he wins the Super Bowl? They did that. So they came in with all this water. God. They poured it all over him, and it was all hype. And I was like, dude,
his PCs.
Well, no, they were careful. I guess they didn't do it, but if they did, he probably has 8 other PCs in the basement. But yeah, very cool stream. Kai Cenat and his Elden Ring streams. And he did a similar thing for the DLC where he's beating it now, but he did like, I don't know if he did a trailer video or something, but he did like the marathon stream. That was fun to watch too. And then I've been watching Moon as well, who's doing the DLC, who dies far more to bosses, not because he's bad, but because he literally did not level up once. So he's level 1, but he's beating the DLC and he's not using any of the Scadu tree blessings either. So he literally just gets one shot at every time. So he can't get hit. That's how it is. He's a god gamer. Moon, best streamer on Twitch. So anyway.
Well.
And yeah, if you guys are playing Elden Ring, by the way, or if you've been taking a break from COD to play Elden Ring, make sure you're in our Discord. There's a lot of talk about it every day still.
Yeah, you guys need to make a separate Elden Ring channel because the video games channel has just been killed. It pisses me off. Every time I open, it's just about Elden Ring, and I don't care, and I don't want to read it.
So we're gonna, we've been having a ton of Elden Ring discussion in our Discord in the video games channel, which is for like all other video games. But I'm going to make a specific Elden Ring channel, which I just did. So you guys can go there and talk about Elden Ring because I don't think any game besides COD has had that much traction in our Discord.
Not that I can remember. Boy, yeah, I don't think so, man.
It is
not anything recent.
Yeah. I mean, it won Game of the Year and it should have. It's a great game, dude. It is so good. And it isn't for everyone, I get that, but like I think it's the perfect game. Even though it's not my type of game, I still love it. I still love playing it. I'm not like a Souls lover, but I'm an Elden Ring lover. And it's also the best looking game I've ever played easily. It's gorgeous. It is such a beautiful game, especially if you have good hardware. Like I have a 1440p, 240 hertz IPS, 1 millisecond gray to gray pixel response time monitor. And playing it on 1440p, it's so pretty, dude. Such a good looking game. Maxed all the graphics. It's great. So yeah, join our Discord if you're an Elden Ring enjoyer. I made a channel just for Elden Ring now, and there's going to be a lot of talk.
I'm happy about that. Yeah. So I'm real happy about that.
And yeah, the rest of you who talk about, I don't know, Starfield or whatever, you guys can have your video games channel back. So anyway, anything else, buddy?
No, God, no.
All
Hell
right.
no, man.
That is it, boys and girls. We hope you enjoyed. Again, sorry for the hiatus, but next week we will be back in action. I'm medicated. I've got proton pump inhibitors. I've got corticosteroids. I've got appointments with specialists. I've got 2,000 medical deductible bills. Patreon.com/Dropshot. We need you now more than ever. And don't forget, we're doing a Manscaped promotion, by the way. Manscaped.com. Use promo code DROPSHOT. Buy something. Support us. You get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. And you would be helping us out a lot. So do that as well. Or just donate to us. Or super chat. Or become a member. I think you can super chat on a video, by the way. No one's ever done it for us before. But if you're like watching the full uploaded video, do a little super comment. Or whatever it's called, just to see if
I think we set
that.
The minimum to like 1,000, I think. So try 1,000, see if that works.
Try it, yeah. Well,
or it might be 1,001 actually, but try it, see if it works.
We'll see. So anyway, we'll be back next week. We will post our schedule on Monday or Tuesday, and we are almost certainly doing 2 episodes, barring another catastrophe that is outside of our control. Again, join the Discord. In the event of catastrophes, you'll be notified of them. And we will see you next week. Love you and stay humble.
Stay humble.